All right, and welcome back to the Weekly Show podcast. Today we have our special guest and our fill-in host for the week, Mike Held. Welcome to the show, Mike.
How's it going, guys?
Good. Mike, so tell us what you do on the show and what's your contribution to the show.
Let's see. I think my main contribution is that I do a lot of the writing. I love doing that. I think that's probably my main thing. I do camera too a lot, which is cool. I like doing that. I think technically that's what I would want to do. So I think that I get to do that before Derek comes in, and that's cool. I guess, and I try to help edit when I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really too good at editing, but I've learned a lot already just from the little bit just doing it with you guys. So that's cool. But yeah, I would say writing is probably my biggest contribution.
So what made you interested in joining the show at the end of last semester?
The fact that we were just putting a show together without any real input from I'm not saying that Yanti doesn't give us input, but he's not really there when we're filming. Mm-hmm. He's not in the classroom. It's really just us doing it. So that was one of the big things that drew me to it. And then the fact that you guys needed writers was just another really big draw for me, because that's honestly what I want to do professionally.
So what do you think? What do you like about the show so far? What do you dislike? What do you like? What do you feel?
I think we've kind of started finding out what works and what doesn't work, which is nice. I really think the skits are starting to come together, which is what really I think brings the show along. I don't know. I think just as a whole, communication-wise, things could always improve.
Absolutely.
Which is just a huge thing in any sort of project. Communication, it should always be number one. So I'd say if not just between everyone, so communication could get better, but that would make things run smoother. But I would say yeah,
that's cool.
So what are you you're graduating this semester, correct?
I am.
So what are the plans? Is the show helping you reach any of those plans, or what are your goals?
Let's see. So at first I was really the show was definitely helping me professionally. I was really going to look into doing a lot more writing stuff. And then my first passion in life is playing guitar and music. And a couple of months ago, or maybe around a month ago, I hooked up with this kid who's in a really legit band, and they've toured the country a couple of times. So I've committed myself to that for the next year or so, see where that goes. I really want to travel, and it's really a good experience. But with video stuff, I'm going to try and do some stuff within the band, so I could stay somewhat relevant within video production and things like that. But within the video realm, I guess things are kind of being put on hold, which is cool, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, I'm still going to keep writing and stuff, which is, I guess, my main goal in the end. So I would like to eventually go back to start writing things again.
So talk about your band a little more. How did this come to be? What kind of music? Any songs, singles?
All right, so let's see. I guess I've been in bands since high school, and I always am. It's the music. I guess it's pop punk, sort of alternative punk music. I guess, I don't know. We're called Firestarter. If you want to check it out, Firestarter from New York. Shameless self promotion right there.
No, keep going.
And so yeah, this guy, he's from New York. We're friends of friends. I've known him. He used to go to school at UNH. And we just through shows, I just kind of met him, became friends on Facebook, and then one day he just posted, "Hey, we need a person to play guitar," on Facebook, and I messaged him, and then a couple of days later we seriously started talking, and then one thing after another, just kind of snowballed into me being in the band.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good, because we were talking about yesterday about how, it's kind of funny how things work. You're going for communication and production, and it's kind of you're going in a different direction, but you want to kind of incorporate both styles, which I think is neat, because you could also do both and do a self-proclaimed production. So that's kind of neat. I mean, hopefully everything works out for you with that too. But
yeah, thank you.
I wanted to kind of go in a little bit of a different direction. How did you feel about hosting last week? What did you think about? Because I know you like being on camera because you're funny.
Yeah, thanks.
Everyone likes you. So what did you think about being on the show as a host?
It was fun. It was definitely fun, and I definitely felt comfortable with it. I think the fact that I'm like second most on camera made me more comfortable with being like at the desk, which was nice. I think as the takes went on, I got more comfortable with it and got more used to like switching cameras and stuff like that, which was cool. I mean, I liked it. I mean, watching SNL growing up and all that stuff, like, who wouldn't want to do that stuff? So I think, like, from the writer's aspect, it's cool to like do your own, say your own jokes. So it's like, because you kind of almost know how you want it to be said.
Exactly.
So it's like, that was cool.
What was the most difficult thing about hosting the show, you think?
Just like trying to not stutter and like, but also, and like keeping a good pace, but like knowing how to emphasize the jokes in the ways that they like should be emphasized, I guess, in a way. Like, it was just hard to like, it's a lot that you wouldn't think about when you like watch someone on TV and like they make it just look so like flawlessly easy. But there's so much more to like reading off a prompter, knowing how it should be said, saying it well enough so people can like understand it clearly, and making it like saying it in a funny way to where like the joke makes sense. It's like a whole, there's like so much variables going on that like you wouldn't even think about. And then like there's so much stuff going on behind the cameras, like people moving, like little distractions can catch your eye. It's just, there's so much, and you just gotta like look at the camera and just make it look like nothing's wrong, or not that there was something wrong, but like nothing's happening.
So I asked this question to, I think, almost everyone, and people, it's uncomfortable to ask, but
go for it.
I like to ask it because I think it's interesting. Like, so who do you think's your favorite person to work with in the studio?
Okay.
Like, who do you think brings the best out of you when you're working with?
Let's see. I mean, honestly, I really like working with Corey. Me and Corey really like have the same sense of humor, and like we could just bounce ideas off each other, and like, I don't know, I feel like I haven't really known him very long, but we seem very comfortable with each other.
I agree.
So I really like working with Corey. And then you two.
Of course, the two guys in the room.
But like I mean, honestly, like, there's just a lot of people I really like working with. Like, no one's hard to work with, which is nice. Yeah. So it's like, I really can't complain.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the next couple weeks? We only got like 3-4 weeks left, probably only 3 to 4 shows. So what's something you would want to accomplish in the next couple weeks?
I would say I'd really like to like make the skits and the jokes really. We don't even have to have like a 20-minute show. We could have like a 10-12-minute show, but just have everything be real tight, really funny, on point, try new stuff, and then just like, but make sure it's the best quality content that we've put out. I think that's the main goal. Just try and put out the best possible stuff that we can, because like in the long run, like, we have to show like a solid progression. So like, if we watch the first show and the last show and there's not like a real difference, like, what was the whole semester for?
Well, I think that's what we were talking about too. We were saying like everyone's like kind of like stuck on the whole time limit. Like, we should have a 30-minute show, and like a lot of us talked about it. I don't really, like you just said, it doesn't really matter. We have to have good content, because if we have 30 minutes of average, no one's gonna watch it. And we've kind of seen it in the views of like certain, like, you can kind of see like the peaks of what people like and stuff. And
yeah,
like
definitely.
Skits. And like you said, more skits I think people want to see. So I completely agree with you 100%.
So with a couple weeks left, what's one thing you want to say you learned from the show, like that you could look back as like a reflection and say, oh, okay, like before I came into the studio, I didn't know this, or before I worked with all these people, I didn't realize this?
I guess it's one of those things where you just like, I've always had like a respect for like the crew, but you don't really understand it until you see it all put together. Like, you obviously see all the credits when you watch movies and stuff, and like you don't really think about all of those names because they just scroll by so quickly, and then, which is, I think, bull. Like, they should slow that down, let everyone get credited, because it's like all those people put in such hard work. So I think it's like respecting all of what everyone does and like letting them do their job like within the crew, because it's like, it's almost like a finely tooled like machine. Like, everyone has their own little piece, and if like that piece isn't working, like then the machine doesn't work.
Yeah.
So like I think that is really cool, and then like just kind of like working with people. Like I've never really done a creative TV experience before, so like that's like just kind of cool.
It's been neat too. It's been an interesting past couple weeks, to say the least. I mean, we've definitely progressed, and you know, like last week, it went fine. Like I said, you stepped in kind of last minute, and we handled it pretty well, I feel like. And I think the next couple weeks, you know, we are gonna probably experiment with some new things, and I think that's what we should, because it's all about learning. Hopefully, you're on as a co-host or something
I'm
on
cool.
camera, because I think people really enjoy seeing you on camera. So, what else you gotta say, Jackson?
I'd have to say, with the whole co-hosting thing, like what's like essential to like balancing it out when you have two people on camera competing for time?
I wouldn't even say it's like a competition. I would say competing for time is like not to like say that you said it in the wrong way, but like I wouldn't say competing for time. I would say just like you gotta be like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen sort of thing. Like, you know, you gotta be teammates, play off of each other. You could set yourself up for a joke and let the other person take the credit, or like, you know, like take the punchline, but like it's all for the heart of the show. So it's like if you're both funny and if you're both on point, go for it, sort of thing. I guess. So it's just like use each other as like a premise for like comedy, and I guess not like to try and steal time from one another. This isn't like Ron Burgundy like, sort of thing. Like I guess, you know.
What do you think of so we talked about how like working together is all new. This is our first experience with, you know, there's 11 of us, so it's a big group. If we take the aspect of how like people are outside the studio, what do you think about like hanging out with everyone? Because I think I break this up every week too, because I always find it interesting to see what people say, because I said it before, never really thought we would all hang out.
No, I I said this to my friend last night. I've like had classes with you guys, and I've always thought you guys were cool and everything. I never had a problem with any of you guys. You guys were all nice, but I never once thought that like I would have like a outside relationship with you guys. And I never was, not saying I was like against it. It was just like one of those things where I was like, I never would like, I guess, see myself putting in the effort. And then like, but now it's like one of those things where I fully enjoy like hanging out with you guys. I could text one of you guys and be like, yeah, let's hang out. I have no problem doing that, and I have done that. So it's like.
And it's funny.
It's just another friend group. Like, it's, why would I not want to have like 5 or 6 other people or 10 other people that I could call or text? Like, that's just cool. Like, I don't know.
And it's kind of funny because, like you just said,
no brainer.
What's weird about it is that we all had class together, and it was never like that. For some strange reason,
I had class with Corey, and he didn't even know I was in the class. Like, I had a screenwriting class with him like a year ago now, and I brought it up like a month ago. I was like, dude, like, we had screenwriting together, and he had no idea. And like now we're best friends, so it's like.
And I think that's what makes us neat, is because this kind of class brought people together, and I think people were gonna come into it, do their job, leave, and kind of treat it like that, and then it's like kind of became something else. And I think that's why we kind of work well together, is because we're starting to realize, like, you know, what ticks off people, like what's like strengths and what's their weaknesses. So I think for like next semester, like the people that I return, and unfortunately you won't be.
Yeah, sadly.
But. You know, we can build off of that, and I think that's something that's good to know.
I totally agree with that. I mean, without having a bond outside of the studio, it'd be kind of weird just thinking. I think we were all really naive, is basically what I'm saying, that we would just walk into the studio and click and, like, know what each other wanted, like, know what the camera movements were, the switching and stuff. I think it's really benefited the people who have actually hung out outside of the studio and like have gone out with us, because I just feel like we know each other on a different level now.
Yeah. If we go back in time to the first 5 weeks of the show.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to know what you thought of it from then to where we're at now. And I know we kind of got into this, but we didn't really talk about the first 5 weeks. So I'm interested in your thoughts on what the first
5 weeks. I feel like we like learned a lot about the studio, which was beneficial, but I feel like we didn't do enough show planning.
Yep.
So like we had like 5 weeks to just plan a lot of stuff, and we didn't plan nearly as much as we should, or really at all, I feel like.
Yeah.
Which, so like that's why I feel like that first show was as rough as it was.
Rough.
Rough, very rough. And I don't know. I feel like the writing is really different.
Yeah.
Like I remember the first 2 weeks I came and just had like pages of monologue jokes, and I would read them to the class or like to the crew, and like we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Which
I
and
think
like
I remember that.
I also don't like write pages of monologue jokes anymore. I feel like structurally we do it different. Like we don't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that was a big thing. We don't do as much monologue stuff, like from a writer's perspective. We do like more skits. So
Yeah.
I guess that's. But yeah, the planning was my big thing. We should have planned more.
Now that you're not coming back next semester,
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
what's something you would like to see the show take on next semester, for a viewer's
Or
standpoint?
do you even care?
Oh, I definitely can. I think it'll be nice to have like this as like a first go at it, like this show, the weekly show,
Yep.
and then you could take what you've learned and like I think more skits. Honestly, I think it should be more of a sketch show. Like if I was in the preliminary stages of the beginning of the weekly show, I would have said it shouldn't have been more of a talk show. It should have been more like a
Agree.
sketch. I just feel like that's more of, I don't even want to say that, like it's more of like kind of what people are watching now.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they like the short little clips of just like quirky little humor
Yeah.
that could be turned into a meme or some sort of GIF or
Yeah.
something and tossed on Tumblr.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah, you bring up the social media aspect.
So
I think
it's
that's a
like-
good idea.
so it's like if you have some stupid character that you could take on forever, like you can do so much with it and create more buzz for the show.
Completely agree, man.
All right, so as a group of people, I'd say we're like, we talked about this a little. We're like a wide variety, different kinds of people, different places and stuff. But if you could put like one word on us as a whole, what would you use?
One word as a whole.
Be careful what you say on this one.
No, be honest though.
Well, I would just say adventurous, but like I'm trying to find a synonym for adventurous. I don't know. I feel like we have like
Adventurous, like
this is-
Indiana Jones.
yeah, like this is one of those things where like we've never done like none have anything sort of like this, and like we just got thrown into these roles. Some people are more fitting than other roles, but like it's just one of those things where like we just kind of threw ourselves into this mess and then said we're gonna find a way out.
Yep.
So I think we're pretty adventurous.
Yeah.
I think that's a good word. We're adventurous on many levels, I would say. I
We're
won't get
also
into
doing
details.
some like pretty like darker humor, which is funny, I guess. And I like doing that stuff, so like I think it's cool that we're getting away with it.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you for coming on.
Oh, dude.
It's always a privilege.
Thanks, dude. I'm happy I didn't get bumped.
Never. We never wanted to bump you, Mike.
So this is the Weekly Show podcast. I'm Vinnie Rosa.
I'm Jackson Rioux. Thanks for listening.